morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today I am here with my usual warning: stop buying Journey Together singles. We are in that awkward situation now, whereby the Journey Together pre-releases have begun. They started this past weekend, and that means that there are some cards out there. Some people out there have been opening packs of Journey Together, which means they can go and sell those cards on eBay and other associated websites, and that basically means that there is a small amount of these cards out there. But of course, it's also very much worth pointing out that the number of these cards out there is very, very small compared to what we're going to see when the set releases as a whole. And this is an immensely hyped set. So you add that together and you basically end up with people asking for and other people paying way more than is right or fair or reasonable for some of these cards. When we get the full release on the 28th, we should see things start to get a bit better. Yes, I know that this set is going to be sold out on release. That's pretty clear at this point. But we also know that Pokemon are reprinting, so things will get better as we go. Right now, it is as bad as it is ever going to be. Take Lily's Clefairy EX. That's going to be a ridiculous card, isn't it? Yes. Yes, it is. If we have a look at the buy it nows right now, they're all sitting around $600. That's about what people are asking. Also, what I'm asking, can we all just think about when we list stuff on eBay? Because I searched for Lily's Clefairy Journey Together 184, which is the number of the special illustration rare, and got a bunch of like full arts and regular arts from people that are putting 184 in the listing, trying to catch people searching for the special illustration rare. And as much as I agree that people should be trying to get people looking at their listing, it's the wrong card. I'm not searching for your card. Stop putting things in the title which give me the wrong card when I search. Thank you. So $600, clearly a ridiculous amount of price for this kind of card on release. Are people paying it? Yes. Yes, they are. Because the last three solds we see here are $625, $550, which weirdly seems like a bit of a bargain, and $625. People are paying over $600 for this card. Now, I will say, obviously this card's beautiful, and obviously this card is extremely playable, but $600 for a special illustration rare? Like, is that just where we are now? Because I just want to remind you guys, like, back in August 2021, when Evolving Skies was like super brand new, I showed you the early ridiculous sales of the Umbreon V Max at $400. And at the time, that was way too high. And we obviously know over time that card went up. That's fine. But my point is, on release, that was way too high. And it came down from there. And that was a $400 card. Like, take Pikachu EX. Let's just look at the graph of Pikachu EX over on TCG Player. That never really got higher than like $500. Currently sitting at like $465. This is a special illustration rare Pikachu, which is also very playable, and that's sitting at about $500 or less than $500. And we're expected to believe we should be paying over $600 for Lily's Clefairy right now. That doesn't really make a huge amount of sense to me. And again, let's look at the early sales of Pikachu EX. What came around on release? People paying $500-$600. And oh look, now months later it's sitting there at like $440 and trending downwards for what it's worth. It's gone down by like $40-$50 since mid-January. So I don't know why we're paying so much. And I do know why we're paying so much. It's, hey, the set's new, this always happens, combined with all Journey Together is selling out. Journey Together is also a main Pokemon set. It is a set whereby people need these cards to actually play the game, far more so than a set like, for instance, Prismatic Evolutions. And I cannot speak for Pokemon, I don't work for Pokemon, let's be perfectly clear. But if I was Pokemon, I would be focusing on printing more Journey Together than I would Prismatic Evolutions, because it's a main set and it's more playable and all of that, and the main sets generally get a bit more love at the printers. That is at least my understanding from, well, every card game. So Lilies Clefairy seems way too high. What about something else? What about like Iono's Bellabolt, for instance? That is expected to be the second biggest card in the set. Well, the good news is somebody got an absolute bargain for $100. Yay! They put it up to bid. One person bid. That's how it sold. But the other two we're seeing here sold for $200 and $300. And again, like, Iono's Bellabolt is a good card. I pulled this card from my box. I hope you all saw my opening. This is a cool card and I love it. But I need you guys to remember that not that long ago, the idea of any special illustration rare being a $300 card was just absolutely absurd. I mean, take the Charizard. Take the Charizard EX from Obsidian Flames, which is actually a decent comp here, because Obsidian Flames, like Journey Together, is an English set based on one Japanese set. So we're going to see a similar kind of thing here with the individual special illustration rares, all the secret rares, being comparatively a bit easier to pull. That's going to be a thing because there are fewer of the secret rares individually, so each individual one is going to be a bit easier to pull. So there is going to be a nice little comparison going on here. And what we see is that, like, over the past year, that card's gone from a $45 card to a $90 card. Sure, it's been going up over the past year, but this Charizard was like a $50 card for a while. And part of the reason why this Charizard ended up being a lot lower than some people expected were because there weren't that many special illustration rares in Obsidian Flames, which meant that pulling something like the Charizard was actually comparatively easier to what we see in most sets, and that's what we're going to see in Journey Together. These special illustration rares are going to be a bit easier to pull because there are fewer of them. So Charizard, you know, the super ridiculously playable Charizard, which is also a Charizard, ends up as like a $50 card on release. But sure, Iono's Bellabolt is going to be 6 times that. And I know we're in a world now where prices have gone up of singles, and it's purely just hype-driven and artificial. But, well, it's artificially done, but it is real. The prices have gone up. But to this level, no, absolutely not. That's ridiculous. And they're supposed to be like the big cards in the set. But it's already happening with some of the others. Like the Articuno illustration rare is like an $85 card apparently right now. $85. And yes, I am well aware that we seem to be doing this thing in the West, which makes no real sense, where we take random illustration rares, not all of them, just a few at random, and push the price up way higher than they have any right to be. And again, if it happened to every illustration rare, then we'd go, okay, it's an illustration rare thing. But it's not, it's just a few random ones each set, which makes no real sense. And if we go over to Japan, for instance, and we have a look at this Articuno, yeah, it's like the third biggest illustration rare in the set. It's like a 900 yen card. But to be clear, 900 yen comes out as $6. It's a $6 card in Japan. And I know the English version is going to end up being a bit more expensive, but $85? Really? One of the only ones higher than that over in Japan is Lily's Rabombi, and that's selling for like $40, $50. This is one of the most egregious ones to me, by the way. Because firstly, Lily's Rabombi is, I mean, it's not great, but it's a more playable card. Secondly, it's got Lily on the card. Thirdly, it's clearly a much nicer looking card. Fourthly, it's significantly more expensive than the Articuno in Japan. So in what world is this Articuno like an $85 card, but Lily's Rabombi is a $40 card? That's dumb, ladies and gentlemen. That's dumb. This makes no sense. And this is why, I think it's a really good illustration why, at least, buying these cards on pre-release is generally a pretty bad idea. In what world does anyone think the Articuno is going to end up being a more sought-after card than the Lily's Rabombi? Over in Japan, for what it's worth, Lily's Rabombi is about 60% higher than the Articuno, which makes perfect sense to me. But even then, the Lily's Rabombi over in Japan is like, for a mint version, you'll pay like 1,500 yen, so you're talking $10. Like, these aren't expensive cards. But weird things happen during pre-release, and like I say, this Articuno being as expensive as it is just mind-blowing to me, because this makes no real sense. It should not be anywhere near this high. For what it's worth, there's one other special illustration rare we should mention quickly here, and Zoroark. Apparently people are paying like $270 for this card. Again, this is just way too high. Like, massively too high. Like, makes no sense too high. Again, we're supposed to expect that this is on the level of some of the top special illustration rares we've seen so far. You know, looking at Japan, this is a clear third place after Lily's Clefairy and Iono's Bellabolt. And apparently it's like a $270-ish card. I mean, these prices are absurd. So I give you this warning every set, and I'm going to keep giving you this warning probably. This is a terrible, terrible time to buy. Like, the Articuno alone should tell you this is a ridiculous time to be trying to buy any singles from Journey together. We know Pokemon are going to be reprinting, and we know main sets generally tend to get a lot of love and a lot of leeway when it comes to reprints. And this is just a combination of pre-releases have started, but the set isn't out. But also everybody knows that the set is going to sell out on release, so you stack that all up and we go, oh, this sucks. So yeah, there we go. That's what you need to know. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me which of these cards you want to be picking up. Tell me what you pulled at your pre-release. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Dojo, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to him for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.